Okay, everybody, this is a video that shows how to do the transition plan. And we're going to be walking through the transition plan kind of step by step, make sure you have an understanding of what you're expected to do. Keep in mind that the cases for class are the ones that we use. It's the same ones for the IEP and the same ones for the lesson plan. So all of them should be the same, Robert or Morgan, or whatever one we've approved in addition. So looking at the student name, looking at the transition planner, that's basically Morgan or Robert, and that's you and the date. And from here on out, it's going to be some writing involved. In the student's perceived skills and strengths, some of this is interpreted from what you know about Robert and Morgan, both of them interested in food stuff, and there might be some social engagement stuff. There may be the kinds of things that they enjoy, and that will come down here in the perceived interests. And so both of these are kind of taken from those short statements about who they are. There's no magic number here, but it should be more than one statement. So extrapolate when necessary. As long as it makes sense, I'm pretty happy. These can be even bullet lists if you want. They don't even have to be a full paragraph. This third one, list and discuss 4 or more tools, tests, exams that could be used to better determine the student's skills and interest. So this is where you see things like the Wilcox-Johnson Achievement Test, the Transition Planning Inventory, maybe the Social Skills Rating System, maybe it's the behavior, the BIDIS, the Behavior Disorder Identification Scale, something like those. So any of these might be in there. It also might be curriculum-based assessments, and it might be student inventory of interest and preference. So all that stuff. Going down from there, we have 4 sections. They're all constructed exactly the same, except the different content, of course. So the first section on here is the course of study. I suggest you skip that one for now, and we're going to come back to that last. I should probably put that at the end of the document, but it's the course of study. We'll come back to it. Next one is employment. Remember, there's 2 different kinds of employment. There's what's called soft skills and hard skills in employment goals. So soft skills are things like, can they interview for a job? Can they fill out an application? Do they know how to dress properly? Do they get along with their employer? Do they get along with fellow employees? Do they get along with customers? Do they have the proper social skills? Do they know how to do clock in and clock out at work? And it's those kinds of things that are more general to most employment as opposed to specific to their type of job. Now, if Morgan and Robert was going to be a cook, or we're going to be a cook, or some sort of grocer or something like that, then that would be the hard employment skills. So what do they need to be able to do for cooking? Well, they may need to have understanding of food safety and cooking safety and nutrition and planning and measuring and those kinds of things. So mathematical skills associated with cooking. If they're doing stocking shelves, they need to be able to recognize where things need to go and be able to order it correctly, maybe deal with pricing, stuff like that. So those become the employment skills that are necessary. You need to fill in at least 4 of these line items. The 5th one can be left blank. So what does it look like? Let's say Randy, my case, wants to be a, let's say he wants to be like a greeter at Shoney's. So the desired outcome is to maybe obtain employment at Shoney's restaurant as greeter, or something along those lines. The action plan, while in high school, take social skills class while in high school, and then at this point you would start going into like internship with like job shadow, things like that. And then maybe up while in high school, I'm just going to put quotes, and then it would be for ditto, it would be something like he would take vocational classes, and then maybe some life skills classes associated with that, and then after high school obtain employment with job support, and then after whatever 6 months or a year or something, obtain full employment at Shoney's. Now, the special education connection, that would be things like, is there an IEP goal? So maybe IEP goals related to social skills, greeting customers, working with fellow employees and employer, those types of things. They also might have some sort of like if necessary, in this case probably not, but some sort of accommodations or modifications, those types of things might be listed here as well. And then agencies responsible would be Randy. Randy's family will probably be involved in this. Special educator U, school district, and probably Shoney's. Now, if it was an educational goal, like taking a class at the community college, then it might be Central Virginia Community College, something like that, if it was taking a class in that respect, or whatever else it might be. So then you would do each one. So if you take a look at this, a desired outcome is an overall kind of end game. It's not quite like a learning objective in that it's not specific and very measurable. Instead, it's a broad statement of where the student's going to be. Then the action plan is the step-by-step for that child as they go through whatever they need to do during school and then after school in order to achieve that particular learning outcome, that desired outcome. And then the special education are any IEP goals, considerations, even assessment stuff, but also modifications and accommodations, any placement decisions, anything that has to do with that particular outcome. And then finally, the agency responsible are any of the individuals who are going to be involved in the planning or the execution of this. And that's where you see things like the Shoney's representative or boss, or somebody from the community college might be there, or somebody from a local rehabilitative center, or whatever it might be. Remember, you have 4 that you have to do. All right, so the next 3 will be a little quicker. The next one, community experiences. These are things like, and it gives you some options here, residency options, recreational experiences, social relationships, and independent living, although daily living skills are down below. So it may be things like, what do they do on the weekends? What do they do with their leisure time? How do they volunteer? Church considerations are a part of that. All those types of things are in there. Also, how do they get around town? How do they get transported from place to place? How do they deal with neighbors? How do they meet new people? How do they become friends? How to develop relationships? And even, as crazy as it sounds, even how to become a boyfriend or a girlfriend and have like a dating type of relationship, or even move towards marriage and family. Those kinds of things. So that's all part of that. So there's a lot of outcomes in here that you could do, but you have to do at least 4. Down here at the bottom, daily living, this is the easiest one to do, because just think about all the things you have to do between making certain kinds of meals, cleaning up, planning for budget, buying groceries, any of these kinds of things and get along with family members and things like that. Any of those would be part of daily living. Even getting along with a landlord, paying rent, and somewhat transportation around as well. But so it's the day-to-day stuff, and those things are in here as well, listed. Now, so we skipped over course of study because the other 3 we took care of. Now that we took care of those 3, now we can think of course of study and think, all right, so Randy wants to be a person at like a greeter at Shoney's. Well, one thing he's going to have is social skills class. Now, this is a high school consideration, which we don't always list out because it's supposed to be usually post-secondary instruction, but it's okay. And then take the class, work on certain skills and so forth. Then maybe another one would be, if he was going to do restaurant stuff, taking a cooking class through local Parks and Rec, or something like that. It may be what it is. It may be, and maybe as part of what his leisure, he wants to do ballroom dancing. So ballroom dance class through a local community college, and so forth. So what are the things he's going to have to learn, especially to deal with this section, and this section? As he pursues these outcomes, what is he going to have to do educationally in order to do that? And that's what these are. So a lot of this bleeds over into this, and this. So those 3. Okay, so this is basically the transition plan, is considering post-secondary and I'm allowing during secondary educational considerations, your daily living skills, your community living skills, and your vocational skills, and which ones really what are the outcomes that need to make up this child's educational goals. So keep in mind, The transition plan is a big document that is big in the sense that it's broad, that it's covering many years as you consider. So it's age 14 through age 25 planning, that type of thing is like 9 years. So in that process, there will be something like 6 or 7 IEPs, and each one of those only lasts 1 year. So there are some IEP goals, as noted right here, that will build towards these desired outcomes for transition. So IEPs build towards transition. Transition is the big picture of what the kid needs. And that's it. That's all there is to it.